Very good. Good evening. I call the meeting of the Falmouth Public Schools to order for November 15th, 2021. Per Governor Baker's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, the public will not be allowed to physically access the school committee meeting, but it can be viewed live on channel 14, and a recording of this meeting can be viewed on YouTube. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which is like there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. If any member of the public would like to make an audio or video recording of this meeting, please notify me by raising the hand icon on your screen, and I will notify the public for the Massachusetts public meeting laws. Do we have anyone who's making a recording today? Mackenzie, thank you, Mackenzie. Mission and vision. Oh, there. Oh, and Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Great. Mission, Falmouth Public Schools mission. The Falmouth Public Schools creates world-class student learning experiences. Our equippers are empowered to pursue their goals with curiosity, integrity, and resiliency. Falmouth Public Schools vision. Clippers are creative, inquisitive, and engaged learners who participate in their community as socially responsible citizens. Clippers effectively communicate and solve problems that impact the world around them. And now moving to public comment. Members of the public are welcome to speak about items that are not on the agenda. Comments should be limited to 2 minutes in length. Due to the open meeting law, there will be no debate or action taken on public comment items. For items on the agenda, the chair may accept comments from the public following the committee's discussion on an item. Additional comments and feedback can also be submitted by email to schoolcommittee@falmouth.k12.ma.us. Do we have any public comments this evening? I see Tammy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, hi Tammy.
Hi, how are you? Sorry that took me so long.
No worries. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, and thank you all. As an early educator and an owner of Little Kids Inc. preschool in North Falmouth, and a mother of 4 children in the Falmouth Public Schools, I want to say first that I have the utmost admiration for all school staff, personnel, and everybody that works with our children. I'm reaching out tonight because I have some issues regarding the COVID test and stay program. I know it's not on the agenda, but I know that I have other families and members of the community who feel the same as me. I've essentially been forced to sign up for this program due to the fact that my daughter was, not doing well in school. And after talking with Lori, the head nurse, I realized that Falmouth signed on with DESE and we have to follow the rules. Yet, while children are being tested upwards of 25 times, 25 school days, and multiple children in the hundreds are being tested weekly, all vaccinated individuals, including staff members, are being exempt from this testing, which after dealing with COVID for as long as I have in my own early childhood setting, this makes absolutely 0 sense. People who are fully vaccinated can carry and spread COVID. This is something that we've all learned, and it's running rampant through fully vaccinated people, including staff in our Falmouth school system. Which leads me to talk about the push and blatant, what seems like bullying within our school systems, putting pressure on our children and staff to get vaccinated. This should be something that we as families decide to do for our families and our children with our doctors. We shouldn't be receiving emails, talking about clinics for 5-year-olds who don't even need a family member present when getting their shots. I realize that this is a nationwide problem and it's something that is weighing on a lot of people. But I want to know, is there data within the school system? Has there been spread within the classrooms? Will this information be shared with families? In my own experience, the spread has been between family members and true close contacts, which would be friends, sleepovers, people who have hung out for extended periods of time, not children sitting in a classroom fully masked. I invite other parents and families to stand up and speak up. The testing will never end. The masks will never go away. And the stress and tension in our schools, among our staff, among our children will never end. Our children.
Tammy, I hate to interrupt you, but you are at your 2 minutes. If you could summarize it, we are taking notes, so we are hearing you, but if you could summarize it, that'd be great.
Sure. I just feel like our children are masked all day long and the testing isn't going anywhere. And I think there needs to be a better system. I think that Falmouth could learn from looking at the models that Bourne school system and Mashpee are using. And, I don't know, it's getting a little out of hand, and doesn't seem to be going anywhere because the vaccine doesn't seem to be protecting people in the way that has been told it would.
Okay, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate your thoughts on that. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments this evening? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to the first item on our agenda, which is to act on Falmouth High School video equipment as surplus. Lori.
So as stated in the memo, this list of equipment is 15 to 20 years old. It's not been used for the past 10 years. It no longer supports any of the curriculum. So we ask that the listed items be surplus.
Is there a motion to make the FHS video equipment surplus? Carrie.
I make a motion to have this equipment declared surplus.
Is there a second? And
Bill, is that right?
yep, it was Bill. Any questions or comments? Andrea.
I just wanted to say that when I saw the surplus items on the agenda, I had, a bunch of questions jump to mind. And then when I looked at the memos, these were so well written and answered all of my questions. And I just very much appreciate having that ahead of time. And so I don't have questions. That's my only comment.
Exactly. I felt exactly the same way. It was a wonderful feeling. Melissa.
Do we have an idea as to what we're gonna do? Do we have a buyer, or do we have someplace we're gonna donate them? What's our plan with them? Once they go to surplus, what's their next life?
So we always attempt to be able to pass them on to anyone that might need them. My guess is that this is such outdated equipment and really doesn't support, as you can see, it's old technology. That will not happen.
It's too bad that they couldn't have caught on to the Lawrence School band electronics recycle.
Electronics disposal, thank God for that thing, or I'd never get anything.
Right? Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, it will be a roll call vote because Leah is joining us via Zoom. So Leah, we will start with you. The motion is to declare these items as surplus.
Yes.
Bill Ryder,
Ryder, yes.
Bill Dorfner,
Dorfner, yes.
Lisa
Hart, yes.
Welch, yes. Melissa,
Melissa Keith, yes. Andrea Thorold, yes.
Jerry Badiris, yes.
and I'm also a yes, so that is unanimous. Next on the agenda is to act on books from the science department as surplus. There's a theme here. Lori.
So the science department no longer needs these textbooks. Some of them are 20 years old. The larger collection there of 100 textbooks it's outdated, and we've purchased the new spring 2021 edition.
Okay, is there a motion to declare the books from the science department as surplus? Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Melissa,
Are we gonna do these separate, or,
It should be all
because
one,
it's
right?
the books
And the tools.
okay,
Do
that's
them
fine.
together.
Yeah, we can just absolutely do the books and the agenda should have read books and tools. So is there a motion to declare the books and tools as surplus? I believe Terry, Melissa, you
Yeah.
had that. And is there a second?
Second.
Lisa. And all in favor, we'll start with Leah.
Leah Palmer, yes.
Bill?
Ryder, yes.
Dorfner, yes.
Lisa Hart, yes.
Welch, yes. Melissa?
Melissa Keith, yes.
Andrew Gold, yes.
Jerry Maderas, yes.
And I'm also a yes. So those books and the tools are declared surplus. So thank you again. Next on our agenda is to act on the $2,000 donation to Art Department by anonymous source.
So we received a $2,000 check for Jane Baker's studio art class materials for the students. They do want to remain anonymous.
Fair enough, but we thank them nonetheless. Is there a motion to accept the $2,000 donation? Bill Dorfner, and a second, and Andrea. So Leah, once again, we will start with you.
Leah Palmer, yes. Thank you
Sorry,
very
I
much.
apologize. Thank you, Terry. Sorry, I have a question.
No, it's definitely just for that particular class. Do we usually do stuff for particular classes or is it for the department?
Different, I mean, we actually have some donations or grants or whatever that goes directly to classrooms or a certain subject area.
Okay,
But this was very specific in their letter that stated devoted to providing art materials for students in Miss Baker's studio art class.
Certainly not that I question that.
Thank you,
Yeah.
anonymous donor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Extraordinarily generous.
Yeah.
So, back to the vote, Leah was a yes, Bill Ryder.
Ryder, yes.
Dorfner, yes.
Lisa Hart, yes.
Welch, yes.
Melissa Keith, yes.
Andrew Gold, yes.
Jerry Maderas, yes.
And I am also a yes. So again, thank you from all of us to our anonymous donor. Funds will be well used. We appreciate it. Oh, this is also wonderful. The next item on the agenda is to act on a $500 donation to Spanish class at the Lawrence School by anonymous source.
Yes.
Yes,
So this is $500 provided for teaching materials for students in Miss Albert's Spanish class.
and again, it is specified to that
Yes,
classroom.
yes, it is specified in the classroom and it is, they do want to remain anonymous.
Is there a motion to approve this donation, $500? Carrie?
Yes.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Bill Dorfner. Any other questions or comments related to this donation?
I wish I could remember my Spanish to say, oh, gracias.
Gracias. Yeah.
Muchas gracias.
Yes. Okay, so starting with you, Leah, the vote for the donation for the Spanish class.
Leah Palmer, yes. Muchas gracias.
Exactly. Bill Ryder.
I'll just go Ryder, yes.
Yes.
Dorfner, yes.
Lisa Hart, yes.
Welch, yes. Melissa Keith, yes. Andrew Gold, yes.
Jerry Maderas, yes.
And Natalie.
I was gonna say it in Gaelic, because I remember I'm learning Gaelic.
Okay, so Natalie Candelopoulos is also a yes, so that is unanimous. We will circle back to the Gaelic at some point, Carrie. Moving along to the update by the superintendent.
All right, I have some few updates, some things that I think you'll find interesting. First, I don't know if anyone saw the 12 angry jurors this past weekend, but the students did a phenomenal job. It was great. So I'm so proud of our students. And you can always tell how much fun that they have when they're performing their rehearsals and all and the performance, but they're still having a lot of fun. They were good. So also we had a grade 7 through 12 English learners visit the campus of Bridgewater State University to learn about the college life and opportunities that are available to them. The students saw dorms, learning facilities, library, and student centers. And they concluded their tour by having lunch at Bears Den. The adults, special thanks to Christine Nicholson, Don Ahern, and Melissa Krim for creating the opportunity and for taking the students. They also had a Portuguese translator travel with them for the students' support. Anyway, it was very interesting. This is my understanding the first time that this opportunity was available. And so very, very happy that we're able to provide those opportunities for students.
Sorry, could you repeat, where did they? travel?
Bridgewater-
Bridgewater.
Bridgewater
that's what I
State.
said. Okay, thank you.
Speaking of Ms. Baker, Jane Baker has been asked from NBL to be a guest lecturer at the NBL Falmouth Forum. So she is on December 3rd, I believe was the date. She'll be talking about the convenient similarities between scientific method and the creative process. If you're familiar with the NBL Forum, there are professors from Harvard, there's CEOs of companies, and so it's a great honor that Ms. Baker's been asked to join and be a guest lecturer there as well. So we're very proud of Jane. Okay, speaking of the clinics, I wanted to let you know that this Thursday and Friday, we're having the clinics at the 4 elementary schools and Morse Pond for 5-year-old to 11-year-old. We're certainly offering the clinics to be equitable across all of our families. So it's an opportunity for those that choose to have their children vaccinated, but may not, they may be working during the day or have a hard time getting their children to a vaccine clinic outside the school. So this is certainly just an offer. No parents have to take advantage of the offer. It is limited spots, and we do have quite a few people signed up for those. But those are happening Thursday and Friday, and then the second dose will be in December 9th and 10th.
I have a question about that. So you said those were 5 to 11-year-olds. If there was anybody outside that range at Morse Pond, could they sign up? Because they're still eligible, but maybe they hadn't had an opportunity to get
So-
vaccinated at the end of last
right.
year.
So because we just held one for Morse Pond for the
Mhm.
12th and
Okay.
older, and we actually, that was the 3rd clinic, and we did not have any takers. The Morse Pond slots are actually filled up and they're on a waiting list at this point. So we could have, yes, but I guess because they had their, they've had 3 opportunities and this age has not had an opportunity yet. Not to say that we can't offer something down the road.
And
I'm-
so those slots being full,
Mhm.
is that just because that's the amount of time and staff we have available to do the vaccinations, or we weren't able to get the doses? Because it's
We weren't
great,
able to
there's a
get the
waiting
doses,
list, and we
yeah.
want to be able to.
Well, we're
serve that.
hoping, because if any of the other schools aren't filled up to the amount, we'll be able to meet the waiting list.
So it is the
It's
actual
the
doses.
doses, it's the actual doses, not the time.
It's also a different vaccine, like the 5 to
Mhm.
11, right? So you
Oh,
can't,
mhm.
to have both on hand, especially if it's a multi-dose vial, you have to think about how many, if it's 5 in a vial, do you have 5 students ages 12 and over at Morse Pond that haven't been vaccinated, that want to be vaccinated? If not, then you run the risk of losing that vial.
Yeah.
Percentage of the vote, yeah.
But yes, we do have a number of families signing up, and just again, we're hoping for the convenience of all families having access to the vaccine. Again, for those who choose to have their children vaccinated. Another coffee hour with the superintendent on December 14th. I always appreciate everybody that comes out to those. So you're welcome to the school committee to join those. I know some of you have. And something just fun, I thought that you'd love to hear from students. So I just wanted to share the second advisory. We've already met once. This was the second advisory, student advisory meeting that I had with the students. And 2 years ago, I did a cultural proficiency activity with the group. And then I repeated the activity with this group. So this is 2 years later because I didn't have, and it was interesting, the responses. So there's 8 continuums from cultural destructiveness, 8 steps up to cultural sustaining. And 2 years ago, the majority rated Falmouth Public Schools cultural proficiency. This group this year, the majority rated the cultural responsiveness. So up 1 step from the time. And it's really good discussion. the students, they were really rich discussions because they could give the actual reasoning why they thought we were there. And knowing that, and we talked about, we still have growth to do, and so that's good. But part of is what they were going to pledge. So they created we created the hands, and the students talked about what they wanted to pledge to keep having Falmouth Public Schools to become better. And so I pledge to hear other people's ideas. I pledge to embrace change. I pledge to include people. I pledge to understand other people's differences and create an inclusive diversity. I pledge to treat everyone with fairness. I pledge to celebrate differences and expand my knowledge of other cultures. And then many of the themes were just, kind of repeated, but I just wanted to read a few of those because you like to hear from students. And that concludes my part.
Great, thank you. And just to circle back to, again, hearing from students starting in January, we are going to bring back a revised version of the fishbowl that gives all students an opportunity to say, what is working, some of the things that they would change within the schools, and just to give us some more feedback. So we will hear from students more and more, which is always wonderful. Yep. So thank you. Any questions or comments for Dr. Dorr related to her update? None. Okay.
I'm sorry, one quick question. Do we know what time Jane Baker's talk will be on 12/3? And is it open to the public or is it invitation only?
It is open to the public, and I believe it is listed.
Thinking.
So December 3rd. And notice this one, it is 7, always
They
7.
usually are, yeah.
Okay, it does not list the time, sorry. Okay. No. Oh, 7:30 to 8:30.
Oh, perfect.
There it is, yes, it is. And that's small print.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to routine business, and it's to approve the minutes of October 26, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
And a second?
Okay.
No, that was Kelly.
Oh, sorry.
I had a total pause. I was like, are there any edits or revisions to the minutes? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote. Leah,
Leah Palmer, yes.
Bill Ryder,
Ryder, yes.
Bill Dorfner, yes.
Lisa Hart, yes. Welch, yes.
Melissa Keith, yes.
Andrea Thorold, yes.
Karen Maderas, yes.
And Natalie is also yes, so it's unanimous. Committee member reports. Any reports to share? Terry?
The communication committee met and drafted a 3 survey questions to send to stakeholders, parents, and teachers
And students, yep.
What's working, what's not working, and just suggestions in general. And it's sent out and due back on December 17th.
Yep, it will go out later this week once Sharon is back from
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, just let you know that. So in our, goal of better communications, this was our first stab at it.
Yeah.
So I mention it for 2 reasons. 1, because it's report, and 2, just to put it in everybody's ear. And we'll keep mentioning the 17th, December 17th date.
Yeah, and I'll track on, the responses, and if necessary, we can extend that date, because we definitely want to hear from as many people as possible.
We
So,
did have that conversation.
yeah, so that's a
Move the
flexible,
date, Yeah.
yeah, but we're excited to start. I think it was a really productive meeting. So
It's really
good.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a lot of
Mhm.
data. So
Yes.
how are we gonna get to see all of it? Is someone gonna go through it and
Yeah.
try to look for?
So great question. So we set up a timeline. That's the December date. In January, we will tackle it, and if necessary, bring in, grad student to help with the
Okay,
data.
Yeah,
The expectation is that the subcommittee will take about 4 to 6 weeks to go through
Yeah.
that, and then we'll report on it.
awesome.
Yeah,
I hope it takes that long, because that'll mean you got a lot of
yeah,
information.
yeah, but give that buffer of time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other committee member reports? Bill?
I'd just like to comment, had the opportunity to attend the Massachusetts Association School Committee Conference. And it was a great opportunity to connect with other members of school committees from across the state, but especially I had the opportunity to actually meet some of the folks from the Cape Cod Collaborative Board. We've all been meeting on Zoom, and this was an opportunity to actually meet them in person. And I'd say put a face to the name, but we can see their faces on the screen, but it's nice to actually meet those people in person. But one of the things that really stuck with me was not any of the talks from the adults. There was a very powerful video that was put together with youth from all over the state. And one of the main sessions of a couple of unbelievably exceptional young people who have taken leadership roles in the state, started nonprofits. And it was just a reminder of the power that the younger generation has to change the world. And if there's a message that we can give to any of our kids out there, is that, we always talk about how they're our future, but really they're our now, our present. They are as active and as smart and as sharp as anybody that I've worked with. And it was just really impressive. It was a great reminder of why we're actually here doing what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's great. Awesome. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Andrea.
I will second that, also attending the conference, and they were exceptional. And the video is available on the Mass YouTube channel.
Thank you. That
So
was my question. Thank you.
definitely worth a watch. And one of the students who was there presenting that morning is actually from Mashpee, so a local, and they're alumni of Project 351, which I know we also do here in our school. So our district is cultivating the same type of leaders, which is excellent to see. And it was a very well-run conference. It was nice to be back and, like you said, see people in person. I don't know how many people said that people look taller than they thought they were. People said that pretty regularly. So we're
They wouldn't have said it to me, though.
Me and you, Terry.
But I also did want to report out on the Mass Delegate Assembly on the Saturday, and all 9 resolutions passed by a substantial majority. The only one that even had a little bit of dissent really was around electric school buses, and there were just some questions about the cost of that, but everything else that you saw in that list passed.
Electric school buses. Okay.
So that was part of it. It was like on the news today, the state was trying to put forward environmentally safe public transportation. It's probably coming from the same camp.
Terry.
We don't have our student member here tonight. It's an off night. So I just thought I would say something. You can't ignore this, how well the sports teams are doing. The girls are doing great. The football team had a rough start because they had some quarantine things, but they're picking up the pace and coming back. So it's just great that we had all those sports things. And somewhere I read something about there are 3 high schools on the Cape and Islands that sent girls to the field hockey playoffs. So the Cape and Islands is getting all kinds of course, we only care about one of them being Falmouth, but no, I'm only kidding. But just to put that, it's so good that the kids can do the sports,
It's important.
It's very exciting.
Any other committee member reports? Okay. Moving next to request for information. So, just a reminder that at our December 14th meeting, I would like, speaking of goals, each subcommittee for the goals to give a brief update as to where we are. And just to recap, goal 1 related to communication is Terry, Melissa, myself, and Lisa supporting with social media. Goal 2 around DEI work and expectations is Kelly, Andrea, and Leah. And then goal 3 around fiscal management related to ESSER funds are Bill Dorfner and Bill Ryder. So on December 14th, we can just take a couple minutes and each group can just sort of catch all of us up to speed And going forward quarterly, we'll have these updates. I think it's important to stay on task and on track. So any other requests? No requests for information? We are good. We are ending even earlier than expected. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
And second,
Second.
Lisa, roll call, Leah,
Leah Palmer, yes.
Bill Ryder,
Bill Ryder, yes.
Bill Dorfman.
Bill Dorfner, yes.
Lisa Hart, yes.
Welch, yes.
Melissa Keegan.
Sandra Gold, yes.
Jerry Maderas, yes.
And Natalie Canalopoulos is also a yes. We are adjourned, and thank you for our town meeting members, school committee members, for all of your hard work and your extra long night tonight. So thank you.